Welcome to Mother Cluckers. My name is Debbie. A viewer recently asked about our different coops, how we built them, what we like about them, and what the downsides are. So I thought I'd take you on a little tour and share the pros and cons of each one based on our experience over the years. This is our first coop, and it was already here when we moved to this property about 7 years ago. It's actually an old shed built in 1989 by the previous owner. It measures roughly 15 by 15 and has good bones, so we decided to convert it to our main chicken coop. We didn't have to build it from scratch, which was a blessing. We just added the roosting boards, a couple of fans to help with airflow during the hot Florida summers, and a few extra comforts for the chickens here and there. Over time, we've made repairs, especially in places where rodents chewed through or where the weather took its toll. Florida storms can be rough on older structures. Still, considering its age, it has held up surprisingly well. One of the best features is a multi-level roosting tier inside, which was already there when we moved in. Our hens can roost way up high or choose a lower level depending on their preference and pecking order. It gives them options, and they seem to appreciate it. Now this coop is more like their shelter than their everyday hangout. The hens only go inside when the weather gets bad, like during heavy rains or storms, or when they're laying eggs. Even then, they often prefer staying outside. From dawn to dusk, they spend nearly all their time in the attached coop run, which gives them plenty of room to roam, scratch, and forage. Our second coop, which is here, is a much smaller one, about 3 by 5, and it came to us as a gift. A friend of ours had wanted to raise chickens, bought the coop, but never followed through, so we gladly accepted it. It was brand new when we got it, but it's definitely starting to show signs of wear now. Some of the wood is weakening, and the structure might not last too many more seasons. Still, it's played a really valuable role in our flock management. We use this smaller coop primarily for raising baby chicks. Once they're about 1 to 2 weeks old, we move them from their heated brooder into this coop. The back end is where they sleep and eat, while the lower tier lets them interact visually with the rest of the flock from a safe distance. This setup helps ease the integration process both for the chicks and the older hens without risking injury or pecking. When they're about 5 to 7 weeks old, we fully introduce them to the main flock, and by then everyone's used to each other. It also doubles as a recovery space for injured birds. We used it on occasion to isolate a bird that needed time to heal, although thankfully we haven't had to do that in a while. Our third coop is one we built ourselves from a kit we purchased at Tractor Supply. It took us around 4 hours to assemble, and it's now home to our bantams as well as some of our baby chicks. It's a well-designed coop with an upper roosting area and 3 enclosed nesting boxes. The baby bantams spend their days in the lower section and move up to roost at night, just like the adults. Interestingly, a few of our full-size hens seem to prefer this coop for laying eggs. They'll fly over just to use those nesting boxes, and I guess when a hen finds a spot she likes, she sticks with it. Unfortunately, we did have a raccoon breach this coop a few months ago and lost a few chicks, which was heartbreaking, but we discovered that the raccoon had dug underneath the coop to get inside. Since then, we've added a layer of wood beneath the entire structure, reinforcing it so predators can't dig under and get through again. That extra security has made a big difference. And then there's our little bird cage, something we picked up at a garage sale for $10. It's not technically a coop, but it became a very important part of our chick raising setup. The cage has two sections and is just the right size for housing newly hatched chicks for their first week or two. We attach a heat lamp to one side to keep the temperature around 91 degrees, especially if it's cooler out, but during the summer we hardly need it because it's already so warm here in Florida. This cage gives the tiniest chick a chance to adjust and build strength before we move them into the bantam coop. They usually stay in the cage for 1 to 3 weeks depending on how they're doing. Once they're ready, they graduate to the bantam coop with the other younger birds and eventually move into the main flock setup when they're old enough. So each of our coops and even the little cage has its own purpose. The large converted shed serves as our main shelter and holds up well despite its age. The second coop, though smaller and starting to wear down, has been invaluable for chick integration and temporary isolation. The Tractor Supply coop is great for our bantams and younger birds, especially now that it's been reinforced against predators. And the garage sale bird cage is a perfect starter home for our brand new chicks. Each structure plays a unique role in the flow and safety of our flock. Some were gifts, some were built by us, and some have weathered time and storms. But all of them reflect our growing experience and commitment to giving our birds a safe, healthy, and happy environment. We appreciate any comments or questions you have about our flock or setup, so feel free to ask us anything. Thank you for watching, and as always, we appreciate your support and feedback. See you next time.